students. Today we will start our first lesson of Science and Technology Part 1, that is the gravitation. In this chapter we will learn about the following points, that are the gravitation, Kepler's laws, acceleration due to gravitation, force of the earth, free fall, circular motion and centripetal force, Newton's universal law of gravitation, and escape velocity. Some part of this chapter is deleted from the syllabus, so I will tell it you during the teaching. Now see, the first point is, what is the effect of force on any object? They have asked a question, what is the effect of force on any object? You know that when we apply force on any object, it can move. A steady object can move, a moving object can come to a rest position. Otherwise, it can change its direction or also change its shape. These are the actions of force on the object. You know the different types of forces around us, that is the static force, gravitational force, muscular force. These are the different types of forces during our daily routine. Now we have to know about the gravitational force in this chapter. You know the gravitational force. Gravitational force is acted by the earth on every object on it or also on the objects in the universe. Gravitational force is a universal force. That means it is acting throughout the universe, throughout the world. It does not act only between the two objects on the earth, but it also acts on the objects which are in the universe. This gravitational force is discovered by the great scientist Sir Isaac Newton. Once upon a time, he was seated under the apple tree. At that time, an apple fell from the tree towards the ground. He thought, why apple fall towards the ground? Why he does not go upward direction? By this curiosity, he discovered the gravitational force. He discovered that gravitational force is acted by the center of the earth. Therefore, object is attracted toward the earth, and it is acted towards the center of the earth, and it is vertically downwards. It means gravitational force is applied by the earth. Its direction is towards the center of the earth. It is in vertically downward direction. This force does not act only on the objects on the earth, but it also acts on the objects which are in the universe, that is the stars, different types of planets, sun, moon. They also have an effect of gravitational force. Our next point is force and motion. What is the relation between force and the motion? They are dependent phenomenon. When we apply a force on any object, there is a change in its motion. You can take an example of bicycle. When we apply force on the bicycle, it can run, and when we apply force by applying the brakes, it can stop. It means moving object can stop, steady objects can move. We can also change the direction of the bicycle by using the force, and also we can change the shape of any object by applying the force. We can change the shape of sponge when we apply force on it. In this way, force and motion, these two phenomena are dependent on each other. Then page number 2 from this chapter is deleted from the syllabus, so there are no questions on this topic. You can read it for your own information, but questions are not asked on this topic. Our next point is Kepler's law. Kepler has given us 3 laws. Which are they? We have to study here. Planetary motion had been observed by astronomers since ancient times. You know that from ancient times, astronomers are studying about the planetary motion. Galileo has given us a telescope for observing the planetary motion. Kepler is a scientist who has given us the laws about this planetary motion. Which are these laws? We have to study in this chapter. Kepler has the 3 laws. You see the diagram of the orbit of a planet moving around the sun. A planet is moving around the sun, is shown in this diagram 1.4. You should see the diagram, and now I will explain the Kepler's laws. In diagram we see that a planet is moving around the sun. Red object shown by S is the sun, and blue object shown at the position of A is the planet. Planet is moving in around the sun. It moves from A, C, D, E and F. This is this path of the planet around the sun. Now see the first law of Kepler. First law tells us that the orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one end of the foci. We see the path of the orbit or path or orbit of the planet. It is not circular, it is elliptical. Elliptical means shaped like a egg. You can see it in the diagram. First law says that the orbit of the planet is an ellipse with the sun at one end of the foci. Sun is on the one end of the foci of the planet. This is the first law of the Kepler. In second law, he tells us about the area captured by the planet through the motion. Kepler's second law is telling us the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. When planet is moving around the sun, there is a equal time interval is taken for moving from A to B, for moving from C to D and for moving from E to F. They have given us equal time interval, but we see that their area is looking different. But when we calculate the total area, it is same. That means the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps the equal areas in equal interval of time. In same time interval, they sweep the equal area. Now see the area, that is the area number 1, 2 and 3. In area number 1, it is broad but short in length because the distance of planet from the sun is less. Therefore, there is a broad area is covered by the planet. In area 2, sun's distance from the planet is increased. Therefore, its length is greater but it is less broad. It becomes thinner than the area 1. And in area 3, it is at the longest distance from the sun. Therefore, area is very thin but length is higher. In this way, if we calculate the area 1, 2 and 3, they all are same in area but their distance from the sun is different. Therefore, we look it as the different. This is the second law of Kepler, that is the line joining the planet to the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. In third law, Kepler says that the square of its period of revolution around the sun, it is taken by capital T. That means the square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of a planet from the sun. Time is taken by capital T. Square of its shown by the T square is directly proportional to the cube of mean distance of a planet from the sun. It is shown by the small r. That means T square is directly proportional to r cube. It shows the relation between the square of the time period and the cube of the mean distance of the planet from the sun. In this way, by using these three laws, Kepler gives us information about the planetary motion. He does only the observations and gives the conclusions, but he doesn't know why this happened. But his information is very useful for Newton's next study, that is the Newton's theory of gravitation. Here we have completed our first 2 points, that is the what is meant by gravitation, what is meant by gravitational force, who discovered it, and what is the relation between force and motion, and the most important point is the Kepler's law. Kepler's law gives us our information about the planetary motion. Now we will revise the points I have teach here. First, what is meant by the gravitational force? Gravitational force is applied by the earth on every object on the earth and also on the objects which are in the universe. Gravitational force is always acted towards the center of the earth and it is in vertically downward direction. It acts in between the two objects on the earth, also in between the objects in the universe. Therefore, it is also called as the universal force. Then we see the relation between force and motion. We know that when we apply the force, steady object can move, movable object can we stop, and also we can change the direction and also shape of the object. Next we have see the Kepler's law. Kepler gives us laws about the planetary motion. In first law, he tells us that the orbit of a planet is an ellipse with the sun at one end of the foci. This is the first law of Kepler. Second law tells us the line joining the planet of the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. It gives relation between the area and time of the revolution. And third law tells us that the square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of the planet from the sun. In this way, Kepler, by his observations, gives us three laws about the planetary motion, and his information is very useful to Newton during its theory of gravitation. Here we have completed our 2 points. Here we have to do the exercise. First you should read the chapter up to page number 3, and today's homework is write the Kepler's law. You have to write 3 laws with the help of the diagram. Diagram is very important and